Hello everyone, I'm the Project Wii Editor-in-Chief Justin Joseph, and I have the utmost pleasure of delivering our website's first ever collection of videos to coincide with our annual Holiday Buyer's Guide. This is a 5-part series, and closing it out is our collective thoughts about what, for the Nintendo Wii, is recommendable for the 2008 holiday. Enjoy as you watch and listen about what you may consider a surprising number of titles despite the disappointment of the hardcore crowd. We've collectively thought of 12 worthwhile holiday titles for Nintendo's little white box. This first item released earlier in the year and happened to spawn Project Wii's first ever and still only cooperative video review. Mario Kart Wii is the latest in the globally famous mascot arcade racing franchise. It's definitely one of the best on the platform this year, with multiple control options for varying preferences, what is still the best title to play via Wi-Fi connection, some vastly creative new tracks, and that intoxicating charm we're all used to by now. Hardcore, casual, or non-gamer, it doesn't matter. There's something here for everyone to enjoy. Another fan favorite returned in March in the form of what was initially promised as a Wii launch title, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. This is one of the most epic games to ever come from the Big N. A very healthy mascot roster that also boasts third-party staples Sonic and Solid Snake, multiple control options to appeal to many crowds, pretty visuals with the arenas and special effects, a more meaningful single-player mode, online verses, and not to mention fan service up the yin-yang. Brawl also plays much more like the Nintendo 64 series Inception, which means the gameplay is a little more floaty and free-form. It's crazy to think that you wouldn't know about Brawl already, but if you don't, you know what should be on your list for the holiday, especially if you have a lot of friends. Let's change gears to a game that's unfortunately seen much less success, despite an exclusive Wii sequel slated for 2010. Suda51's No More Heroes is one of the most stylish and creative titles we've ever seen. Travis Touchdown is the epitome of the stereotypical anime otaku male in terms of lifestyle and social skills. That fact just makes the assassin ranking plot even more quirky, but more important is the combat. No More Heroes features the Wii's first lightsaber fighting, and it works extremely well with a hybrid button and gesture system. Sure, the game has a few nasty flaws, but it's not enough reason to avoid this game for the holiday if you have since it released. This next one is likely to cause some controversy thanks to its extremely familiar feel, but we can't ignore its appeal. We fully acknowledge that Animal Crossing City Folk, a life sim, is more of a mishmash of the previous 2 North American titles, but franchise fans and potential newcomers can still have some fun. The visuals are slightly improved, and the online integration introduces the console's voice chat peripheral, We Speak. If Second Life or The Sims from EA isn't your cup of tea with the genre, perhaps this could tide you over. We're more enthusiastic about recommending an enhanced PlayStation 2 port from quite a few years ago. Bully Scholarship Edition follows the exact same plot and exploits of troublemaker Jimmy Hopkins as he rises to influence at Bulworth Academy, a private school. Thankfully, the Wii version features cleaner and more vibrant visuals, extremely fun-to-use motion controls, additional class subjects and missions, and to top it all off, a distractive offline multiplayer mode. If you've finished the PS2 version over and over, this may not be a necessary investment, but as for everyone else, Scholarship Edition is too entertaining to ignore, especially with Rockstar's humor. Another enhanced port that Wii owners could drool over came courtesy of Ready at Dawn. Okami is the only game of its kind, thanks to a visual presentation that's only describable as an interactive painting, and you happen to do a lot of that yourself too. Not only is Okami beautiful with 480p and 16:9 support, despite a less noticeable paper filter, but the game has more than enough to offer to the hardcore gamer. Sure, the waggle combat isn't the most attractive, but this lengthy quest inspired by Japanese folklore is one that shouldn't be missed by any adventure fan. That means you, Legend of Zelda diehards. Next, believe it or not, but a decent first-person shooter is available for Wii now. Based on the Call of Duty 4 engine, Treyarch has tried to deliver an authentic experience to Nintendo fans with World at War. While it's obviously not as pretty as the 360 and PS3 versions, Wii fans still have a lot to enjoy here. Nothing has really changed in-game content-wise, and the controls are a small step above Call of Duty 3. Add to that an exclusive offline co-op mode for 2 players, and online play with Team Deathmatch that features the class and perk system we all love so much now, and you have a nice game to tide us over until the Conduit releases next year. Are you an insatiable old-school gamer in respect to 2D side-scrollers? Well, in case you didn't know about Wario Land Shake It, you do now. With visuals that surpass those of Odin Sphere for PS2 and undeniable charm, this much-anticipated entry in the series starring Mario's evil twin is plenty worthwhile. It's a shame that widescreen was left out of the presentation, but the straightforward gesture controls help to make up for it in the entertainment department. Plus, this is the hysterical Wario franchise. Don't avoid this for the holiday. If that isn't the kind of charm you're looking for, then perhaps Dokapon Kingdom can satisfy you. Look into this, especially if you love multiplayer-centric games. Dokapon is essentially a hybrid of Mario Party and any RPG you could possibly think of. You have a character that gains levels and skills, all the while competing in a board game setting as you try to win the right to marry the king's daughter. But of course the game wouldn't be nearly as distinguishable were it not for the option to fight your human opponents, embarrass them, and make them wanted by the police. If you thought Mario Party could drive a wedge in relationships, you haven't seen anything yet. But that's why this is so cool. Of our 3 games remaining, I'll begin with what Vicarious Visions had been hard at work on since before Guitar Hero Legends of Rock released. And yes, I'm referring to World Tour. Identical content in comparison to the other consoles, 8-player online matches, downloads that can be stored to the Wii memory or SD cards, Wii Remote integration with the instruments, an exclusive freestyle mode, and decent visuals make Guitar Hero World Tour a must for any music-loving gamer or gaming family. It's a shame that the asking price is so steep, but when you consider the long-term value, the justification is generally there. Have fun jamming to your favorite songs of all time. Okay, we're almost there, as the second to last title to discuss is the sleeper hit Blastworks Build, Trade, Destroy. Consider this Wii's Katamari in the light that it's a side-scrolling shmup that allows you to control a ship that can stack all sorts of debris, and drop it as well. Bullet hell is usually what these games are called, and the case is no different here. Don't let the simplistic presentation make you turn cheek, because there's a lot of fun to be had, especially with the extremely deep user editor. Build your own levels and ships, and share them over Wii Connect 24, which communicates with the official website. This game is great for hardcore gamers across the board. Last but not least is a title that we quite frankly never expected to include in this holiday guide. While some franchise purists will understandably avoid this one at all costs, Konami's infamous Castlevania series has stepped outside its action platforming comfort zone. Judgment is the first entry in the fighting genre, and it shockingly works pretty well. The roster is fairly healthy, with even Order of Ecclesia's Shinoa unlockable, and all the unique attire is worthwhile. The visual style is an acquired taste, but the content is there to make this a legitimate fighting game. Arenas have a sort of roaming freedom to them, and combat is surprisingly deep despite the waggle mechanics. Plus, Judgment introduces online play for Wii fighting, and that we certainly won't complain about. So there you have it, and hopefully this information is helpful to you. Be sure to check out our videos for the other systems when you have a minute. You won't regret it. Nevertheless, from all of us here at ProjectCoe.com, we wish all of you a very happy holiday season and hope you continue following our extensive coverage. Thanks guys, and I'll see you soon.